Everyone, welcome back to yet another session of the Bookmark Special Series, wherein we are trying different fragments and creating beautiful bookmarks using these Zentangle fragments. Let's get started with today's session. Today again I'm going to be using a fragment. The fragment is basically a tangle called Hari. It is fragment V4. Yes. I'm again going to be starting with a square grid, and then we shall draw the tangle Hari basically inside each of the sections. Yes, so I will be using a boulder nib. Starting with a square grid first. Right, and now as I mentioned earlier also, you can either choose 2 lines or 3 lines. Let's draw 2 lines and one more. Like this. Yes, now just as we draw the tangle Hari, I'm going to draw 2 set of lines. First let's do that exercise for all. So diagonal lines with an aura. Slowly take your time. So many of the Zentangle patterns or tangles can be used as fragments, in fact all. However, fragments, as I mentioned, have a special feature of being able to form meta patterns when put into different grids or when drawn differently, clockwise, anti-clockwise. So not all tangles may have that characteristic, and that's why fragments are special. And the last one there, like this. Yeah, now I'm going to cross and draw the second line in the same way. However, as you can see, I'm drawing behind. I'm not cutting lines anywhere. So slowly take your time, drawing across, not cutting lines anywhere, drawing in a hollow block fashion, drawing behind. Yes, simple thing to do. Let's complete that. Please draw at your own pace. All the lines across. Now comes drawing lines just the way we do for hybrid from both sides. And then the innermost space, either you can continue drawing lines like that or you can ink it. I'm going to be inking it so that there is some amount of drama, like this. Yes, and then ink this space. Yeah, let's now move to the next, exactly the same fashion. Yes, you can count, keep the number of lines equal, or even if they are not, it doesn't matter. I'm using a boulder nib here, so the ink is taking a little time to dry up, so you need to be careful. Yes, and I will do the same exercise in these sections also, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and ink the rest. Again 1, 2, 3 and 4, and ink the rest. Yeah. So see for yourself how many lines do you want to add so that the squares are not too big and not too small, and they kind of coordinate with the other side. That's the whole idea. Yes, that is what I'm trying to do here. Coordinate the two sides so that a diamond shape is formed. Keep the sizes not too big, not too small. Accordingly, you can manipulate the number of auras that you are adding. This is just like we do hybrid. Yeah. So draw at your own pace. Take your time. Yeah. So I'm going to continue like this. Take your own time. Yes, it's already forming meta pattern. Yes, that's the special feature of a fragment. So I am manipulating the number of auras a little bit so that a square or a diamond kind of shape is formed inside, but not much. Yeah. Take your time. Draw at your own pace. Like this. Yeah. So let's continue again. Auras from both sides, just like we do for hybrid, and then ink inside the innermost space. Again, make sure the ink has dried up. I'm using a thicker nib and kind of coordinating two sections to form a perfect diamond shape. Even if the shape is not perfect, it's okay. Do not bother, just continue to draw the fragment. Like this. Yes. So I'm still continuing in the same fashion. Adding lines from both sides. Inking the innermost aura. Coordinating it with the other side. So I form a nice diamond shape. Yeah. Continue in the same fashion. Don't be in a hurry. Keep rotating your tile if you are not comfortable drawing lines in both the direction without moving the tile. So it's perfect to rotate. Take your time, and I will continue in the same fashion. Yeah, so I'm almost done, just drawing the last few sections. Take your time. And that's it. We are done. Yes, so you can see simple fragment. How does it look like when put into a grid and with a slight inking? Yes, it looks totally different and beautiful. So let's do another simple fragment on the other side. I'm again going to start with a square grid. So now my grid is ready on the other side, and now we are going to be trying another fragment, and it is C7. Yes. The only difference being now I'm going to start with the ink space and then go on to add the lines. Yes. So the fragment C7 first starts with these inked spaces. Again, a fragment where you can change the position of the squares and you can create different kind of meta patterns. Yes. So we have started with a square on both sides, opposite sides, and then I'm going to add auras till they start to intersect. So they have already started to intersect, and probably one more like this. So this is the fragment C7. Now the next square, you have a choice. I like adding here and here, or you can coordinate the two. So by alternating the position of the square. Yes, so you can start like this also. Now definitely when you are coordinating, the lines will also be coordinated. So you need to be a little careful when drawing this fragment in this fashion. Yeah, where you are trying to coordinate the two sides. So this is how it will look like. Again, next will be alternate, which is same as the first section that we started with. Yes, or you can draw all in the same fashion. As I mentioned, in both cases they will form different kind of meta pattern. As you can see, I am adding one aura on each side, and then adding further auras till there are one or two intersecting auras. Yes, so let's move on to the next. Again, you are going to build a square now, so I'm coordinating with the previous section. 1, again add a square here, an aura, again further auras, third aura. It would be nice to coordinate the auras also, but if it is not possible, please don't bother. It will look nice any which ways. Also, it is not important that number of auras should remain the same. Even if there are one or two extra, that's fine. Right? Again, aura, square on the opposite side, ink the square, add an aura. Now add coordinated auras till they start to intersect like this. Yeah, so I'm going to continue like this. The previous section gives you a clue as to where the next square should be, so you don't have to really bother how, what, where, or you can draw all in the same direction in the same way as we drew the first one. That is also going to create a pattern in itself, and that is why fragments are special, as I keep mentioning. Yes, these sections you can just add a dot or you can add anything else. Yeah, so I'm still continuing in the same fashion. You can add as many auras as you want. Try adding simultaneous auras. Like this. Yeah. Slowly take your time. And the fourth one here. If they are not intersecting, probably you may have to add an additional one so that there is an intersection. Yes, because that is how it looks nice when there are one or two intersecting auras. So let's complete this in the same fashion. I think by now you got a hang of it. Just make sure you add auras simultaneously and try and coordinate with the previous section, with the adjoining section. And draw till they start to intersect. Add one or two intersecting auras. You can coordinate once you have drawn all sides, then you can ink the squares properly. Second aura, third aura, and the fourth aura, and you can now stop. Yes, so I'm almost done on the last section, continuing in the same fashion. adding auras to both the squares simultaneously, coordinating with the previous section. Take your time, don't haste up. Yes. The last one here. So you have to coordinate from both sides. First aura, second aura, third aura, and the fourth aura. Yes. So that's how this fragment looks like. So let us now add a little bit of shading, yes, to both. So this is more or less black and white. I'm not using colors here. So it is up to you, how do you want to shade it, yes. So you can shade on the grid line. I would like to shade on the grid line, but if you want, you can highlight the intersections also, yes. So I would just add probably shading on the grid line, because I feel like shading like that. But again, it's a choice. How do you want to shade it? Added graphite here, and then if you want, you can add on the grid line, or just adding horizontally. I think that much shading is sufficient here. I don't want to shade more. Yes, take your time. And probably some here at the ends. Like this. Yeah, so if you want, you can shade on these lines also, but I don't feel like it looks like a fold. Yeah, so I want to skip shading the vertical lines. As far as this part is concerned, it is again up to you, how do you want to shade. So I would like to shade these sections. Take your time. Yes, so wherever there is a turning, the lines are turning, I'm adding some bit of shade there. There are a whole lot of ways you can shade this. Shade it the way you wish to. No hard and fast rules there. At places the turnings are well coordinated. At places they are not. That's fine. Doesn't really matter. Yes. Now we have these square spaces in between. If you want, you can either take your black pen and add circular lines, or you can leave it as such. Yeah. So probably we'll use our a little finer nib like an O1 and go against the straight lines. You can also add colors here. So it's entirely your choice. This part is entirely optional. You may or may not do it. If you want, you can add some colors there. So since it's all squares and rectangles, so I'm going against so that it is visible, because it's all line work, right? So circle will be visible more. Now this is an improvisation, an addition, a tangleation. The original fragment does not have it. So you may or may not do it. Yes, looks all decked up, and see the beautiful pattern. This itself looks like a pattern with the circle added in between. Yes, so you can now imagine the endless possibilities. I think by now you have got a broad idea about possibilities with fragments and why they are called fragments. Yes. So just by picking one fragment, you can very comfortably create about 4 to 5 bookmarks just by changing the grid. And by the way, till now we are not changed the grid at all. We are working on a square grid, right? So if you change the grid, that will also have endless possibilities. Take your time. Gradually fill up all these spaces like this. So I have completed. This actually looks like a motherboard. I don't know. What does it look like? I have my jelly roll in hand, and as you know, if there are bold black sections, I am really tempted. So I'm just going to add simple dot, nothing else, and break that monotony. You can also add more dots if you feel like. Yes, so that's about it. We are done drawing our bookmark. So simple fragments, try more, try placing all of them in the same direction, whether it is this fragment or this. Yeah, I shall see you again with few more sessions on interesting fragments and create bookmarks out of them. Yes, till then, have a good time. Bye bye.